We are back. It's League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys, and we are past the halfway mark in EU. 10 games under the belt of all the LEC players, which means we look at the mid-season MVPs so far, and with the 9-1 start, it's got to be someone from G2 who is the front runner. But who do you pick from this roster? Perks as an AD carry, his first split. Caps, the MVP. Can he go back-to-back? I think it's actually Jankos in the jungle, Mark. He has been fantastic.
Well, really, when you do look at how G2 has won their games, yeah, there have been, of course, individual performances from the likes of Caps and Perks that have swung the favor for this team. But how are the likes of Caps and Perks getting the advantages in the first place? How are they getting through the early stages of games where teams have identified that we want to set this guy behind as far as we possibly can because we're scared of what his potential is going to be late game? Jankos has been the saving grace for G2, helping these guys out in the early part, and this has been, I think, the best split to start out that we've seen from Jankos in his career to get these guys going, to get G2 to the point that they are at right now.
The man won a game on Ivern in 2019. On Ivern!
Crazy.
I mean, I know the meme is that he just plays Karthus and presses R. He always seems to have a meme around him, whether it's Braum or Karthus.
Karthus is a special case, guys. Don't even bring that in when you're talking about the skill and the level of skill that Jankos has brought to the Rift so far.
But the other champions we've seen him play, and he's played a lot. He's played Elise, he's played Olaf. I think his performances on those champions have actually been much more impressive because Karthus isn't that impressive a lot of these games, you know. But, I mean, this game against Misfits was just disgusting because everyone on G2 was rolling them over. But, yeah, the early game from Jankos has been fantastic. He's dominated almost every single jungle matchup that he's been in, and I'm shocked. He was so inconsistent in 2018. I know when you have pressure from literally every single lane because Caps, Perks, and Wonder are all putting insane amounts of pressure on the map. It makes it a lot easier to jungle, but Jankos has just been absolutely phenomenal, and I think he's been the most consistent player on G2 so far.
Right, when you listen to how Fnatic talk about last year with Caps as the mid laner, they had to focus around that lane. That had to be the pressure point for them, which made it easier for someone like Broxah to know that this is the lane I'm going to. Well, you've seen that with G2 to a certain degree here, but Jankos still deserves the credit of creating some of his own advantages that he's been able to get throughout his own skill in the jungle, and then he's bringing those to the lanes to help out.
And you could make an argument for Perks and Caps for MVP
Sure.
as well. But we're going with Jankos right now. And if you're going outside of G2, I think really the only other name you could even whisper in the MVP conversation right now is Upset on Schalke. This guy's finally, the spring split in 2018, disappointing for him. He's been the prodigy AD carry that everyone has been talking about for so long, and now he's finally living up to that hype as a premier AD carry, probably the best AD carry in EU right now.
Yeah, this is someone we've had our eye on for at least the last year and a half now at this point, knowing that the mechanical skill is all there. We want to see him learn and get seasoned up as a veteran here on the main stage of the LEC. Seems to finally be happening, and we're seeing the fully unlocked Upset start to pop off in these games, and it is a major reason why Schalke has found some of the advantages that they have in their games, and that bottom lane is a pillar of strength for them to move around moving forward.
One of the things I got to see, though, is I got to see more games from Upset, not on Ezreal or Kai'Sa, because, I mean, the majority of his games you're seeing on that Ezreal, and he's fantastic.
I was going to say, I don't know.
On that champion.
It's pretty entertaining watching him dance around on that little boy.
Yeah, he's all right. He's fantastic on Kai'Sa as well, but I got to see him on some other champions. But no doubt he's been the best AD so far in EU, and Perks is probably right there behind him.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the interesting thing when you look at Upset is that Perks has been very good, but Upset been better.
Yeah, he's been better. So those are probably the front runners for MVP, and he's not going to get MVP, but we got to shout out the main rookie of the split so far. I mean, we talked about Abbedagga and Humanoid, who have both had pretty solid campaigns here in the spring split, but the guy running away with this award is definitely self-made on SK Gaming. Right from the drop of the hat in Game 1 and Game 2 against Fnatic, both games, he outclassed Broxah, and I think he was just, he's been the best jungler, or he's been a top 3 jungler so far and really just destroyed expectations.
Right, this has been the thing where you thought, okay, coming in here self-made, this is someone who could maybe carve himself out a spot in towards the top 5 of the junglers here if everything goes right for him in this squad. And so far, everything has absolutely gone right for him in this start versus SK Gaming, and he has been a huge part in the advantages that they're picking up in these games and then using to close them out. He has been a major force for them, and if you're not going to want to pick someone like Jankos and what he's done in the jungle, you have to look at like someone like Selfmade, and I don't know how you can't appreciate what he's done so far to start out the LEC Spring Split.
He's the main win condition for SK. He runs the entire early game, and even in a lot of these late game fights on tanks, he's making game-winning plays. You saw a Xin Zhao game where he did 29% of his team's damage. That's insane to do out of the jungle.
It's nutty to do that out of the jungle, especially on the likes of a Xin Zhao there. And again, I'm losing my mind every time I see that highlight of that Sejuani ultimate.
He's drifting, man.
I can't get enough of that. Give me more of that deja vu.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen his champion pool is pretty massive as well. He's got that synergy with Whirlwind, but he's playing around every single lane. Self-made, rookie of the split is yours to lose. That's all the time today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark with you guys. Thanks for joining us as always, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.